Only one in the eve.
Budget meeting to order. Appreciate everybody coming out so early. I'm glad that I could actually see daylight. I didn't know the sun comes up this time of day. Don, you want to get us started, please, with the overview, please?
Mr. Chair, with a lot of work in the clerk's office, you got a budget proposal number 1 in front of you. The clerk took the action the county commission has taken on and not taken on the recommendation from the budget review committee. We, of course, we cut some money out of the courthouse, $50,000 renovation money out of the courthouse. So we didn't take any action on landfill tipping fees or additional gas tax and those things. I did freeze 2% of our budget in the current year to help go forward to make money next year to hopefully get employees a pay raise. But all said and done, your current millage rate today is 5.7419, and if you go with what you have proposed here, it would reduce down to 5.6845. And in doing so, if you would stay with the same millage rate, you're dropping, or you're leaving $77,619 on the table. So if you stay with the same millage rate today as you for next year as you have today, you could pick up another $77,000 and change. You stay with the same millage. Your property value did drop, and from 1.4 something down to $1.3 million per meal, and so total you have a $698,448 reduction in your proposed budget. With that said, I gave Mr. Chairman, I gave one set of pictures for photographs there of the courthouse. This budget does not include any additional funding for renovations to the courthouse. The reason I gave you those pictures, we got a boom, we got up, and you can see this from up there, you can't see it from the ground. The reason we have the water going inside the courthouse is it's going in those bricks. That water has deteriorated over the last 90 years, and water's going in between the brick walls, running down, and that's when we got the mold and stuff inside the building. Something that's either I think we're going to have to fix it, or we need to move out of it. Well, anyway, just to make the point, this budget does not include any kind of money for work on the old courthouse. And it's too pretty of a building to paint. You could solve the leaking problem with paint, but you don't want to go in and paint brick because you lose the historical value or the effect of that building. Well, today, and Mr. Kirk's got a big role to play than I do in this, you have a decision to make. If you were to go with this proposed millage rate, but you cannot increase it later, you can always reduce this later. If you go ahead and adopt this rate, or if you adopt the current rate today, you can go down at your next budget hearing, which will be in September, which you got set today. And I think the clerk has I think school board is going to have theirs on September 11th, and you got yours at a different date than that.
Thank you. For the public's purposes, do you want to talk about the dates and our responsibilities and where we are today?
We have to have a date to the property appraiser by the 4th of August. That's why we need to meet today and determine what that date is. I think we can meet anywhere from September the 3rd to September the 18th. The school board is on the 11th, so you cannot meet on that day at all. And we have to have it after 5 o'clock. Reason sometimes it's kind of picky when we choose our dates is because we only have a paper that runs once a week. So if the board has no objection, maybe the 10th would be a good date.
Wishes of the board?
So move for the 10th, Mr. Chair, at 5:01.
All right, we have a motion. Commissioner Yeager, second. Mr. McLemore, any opposition? Motion carries 5-0.
And it's, it's up to the board now what countywide millage rate you would like to adopt. Dawn has already given you your proposed millage rate and your current millage rate, what it is. Your fire districts, St. Joseph Fire is at 0.4 mils, and the other fire districts are at half a mil each. We'll need to set by vote what your countywide millage proposed rate will be, so that we can give that number to Kesley, and for each of the fire districts and your MSTU. Would note that your MSTU voted debt service has decreased on both the Gulf Front and the interior. The Gulf Front is 6.6995, which is a decrease of 3.3205, which is an increase, I think. The Gulf Interior is 3.5014, and it's a decrease of 1.3435.
And next year, that'll be zero.
And next year, that'll be gone. It'll be paid off. So the board's pleasure, we would need to take these each rate and adopt them.
Well, from my perspective, today's purpose is just to give us the bookmark that we need to meet the requirements that she's outlined. We've got some work to do. I know we've talked about a couple positions, you know, from procurement and chief financial officer type scenario. I think we need to study that. I think what he's brought up today, some of the repair work, we've got time to work through that. But today's purposes was to meet sort of the requirement. Then we'll come back with our budget committee and our regular scheduled workshops to really get into the meat of it. But what are the wishes of the board?
I think for one thing, and I don't have a problem with doing this, but I think we need to keep the same millage rate that we had last year. We can set that. We can't go above it, but we can drop it.
I agree.
I think it would be safe to keep the same.
Just as a bookmark, like we're talking about from a
Yeah.
work standpoint.
Yeah. So moved to do that.
Motion, Commissioner McLemore. Second. Second, Commissioner Yeager. Any opposition? Motion carries 5-0. Any other housekeeping items we need on that, Don?
No, I mean, this is, I mean, we're talking about budget right now, but at some point in time, we do need to talk about landfill. We're losing $35 a ton for what Mexico Beach puts in landfill and some other things. At some point in time, we need to look at some other revenue.
I mean, I agree. I think there's lots of items that we still need to vet out and go through it, but, you know, and I hope that for the public's purposes, the media coverage here as well, that the issue is that this is strictly a benchmark. We can't go, as you said, up, but we can work our way down in the process. But we have several items that are major issues for the county as we go forward. And we've got that meeting now set for the 10th at 5:01.
Mr. Chairman, may I bring up one other item here that I want to bring up, because I discussed this a little bit with Joe, and I think he agrees. We need to look at those purchase orders on this bulk stuff that we buy.
Absolutely.
You know,
I think that's what we've been talking about is somebody to help with procurement, but not only that. I'll tell you guys, again, we're understaffed in administration. We're Don. All of you know you can't hardly get in to see. We've got a lot of issues going on. So I think at the end of the day, while we are going to keep this millage the same, we need to figure that out, because in my opinion, that position would more than pay for itself.
100%.
We've been talking about it for 3 or 4 years. At the end of the day, it's about time to act.
that's something we need to look at, and I really, before I made a good solid decision on that, I'd like to really see some numbers. We can do a little research on that with the supplies that we've been using from years past, and then we can actually come up with some numbers on that. But I hear you, and I just don't know if we have enough work out there to hire somebody, you know. And then again, we have enough work out there not to hire somebody, because these people are maxed out. They can't do it, you know. So we got to look at it. But these purchase orders, I think, is something that we really need to look at to save us some money.
I agree. I think there's a number of things that a person could do, including, you know, keeping up with, helping the attorney and the administrator keeping up with specific contracts, making sure that we're renewing them when we need to renew them, and those kind of things. I mean, there's just a lot of things that this person could do, but we can address that later. Obviously, we want to keep that millage the same.
If they can prove to me that they can save us money and pay their salary, I have no problem with it.
I agree. Ms. Becky, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I would like to note that in this budget, just for your So you'll know that, I know y'all working on the relationship with the Mexico Beach ambulance, and we have put in additional ambulance revenue based on the projection that we talked about during previous meetings of $30,000. So if that doesn't happen, you're going to be $30,000 short.
Where are we on that, Houston?
36,000.
Got a $6,000 surplus. Okay.
Also, you just need to adopt your fire districts and your MSTU.
You need those independently, or can we do it as a,
I think you can, at this point, you can do all your fire districts as one vote, with St. Joseph Fire being at .4 mils and Tupelo, Overstreet, and Howard Creek being at half a mil each.
okay, do we have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion, Mr. Yeager.
Second.
Second, Commissioner McDaniels. Any opposition? Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, and then the voted debt service for the MSTU, the Gulf Front, 6.6995, the Gulf Interior at 3.5014.
So move on those, Mr. Chair.
Motion, Commissioner Yeager.
Second.
Second, Commissioner McDaniels. Any opposition? Motion carries 5-0.
Already set the date, time, and place of the public hearing. That's all I have, I think. Is that, make
Mr. Butler, you
sure.
have anything else?
No.
That's all. No.
Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion, second. We're adjourned. We'll reconvene in about 4 minutes. Or not reconvene, start a new meeting.